Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more Test match cricket. We've just finished our live stream for West Indies versus Australia. Now we are here for the final session of England versus Pakistan. And all I can say is I've been watching this game alongside the other, and the English are going mental at the moment. They are just swinging for everything that they can. And the reason I say that is because this is a Test match, and they're going at 6 and over, which is pretty incredible for the way that they have been attacking the ball. Crawley got a century, 122. Duckett managed to get 107. Ollie Pope not out on 48. But the thing is, yes, they are going extremely hard at the ball at times, but they're also playing out that good ball, which is exactly what they need to do. But Pakistan, they've had some good bowling from Mahmood. He's currently 2 for 127. It feels so weird to say that with the fact that he's only bowled the 19 overs. Harris Ralph was able to get himself the wicket. He's actually got one of the best economies of the group, sitting there 11 overs, bowled 1 maiden, 61 runs, and 1 wicket on the board for him as well. And then Naseem Shah, 9 overs, 49 runs, the best economy out of any Pakistani bowler, 5.44, I should say. But this is going to be an interesting session because I would think England won't change anything. They've got Harry Brook at the crease sitting on 22 off 23. Joe Root probably, he'd be a bit disappointed with only getting 23, but he was still actually quite aggressive in the way that he played as well. I was super angry and frustrated earlier when Australia to declare when I just needed Smith to make 5 more runs to get $800. Says, Aiden, I see you still haven't given up the gambling there, bud. Even though we have told you multiple times might be a good idea, still something to think about possibly in the near future before it does any harm to yourself. But they are showing there the Dubai Sevens. It's being advertised. It's going to be coming up tomorrow. England's going to be a part of that. In fact, they're going to be bunched together because they will be Great Britain for that competition. But England in this one, I think they're going to have 500 by the end of the day with the way that they have been attacking. The question more is, will they be able to get those runs on the board before we get done for bad light? I don't think we're going to get to play right through to when this game is supposed to be finishing, but we should be able to get relatively close. And there may be with about 5 to 10 overs remaining. And in this one, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, how many runs do you think England will be satisfied with? Because at the end of the day, they haven't really used up many overs at all. They've hardly batted a day. In fact, they haven't yet. So when they've batted a day, they'll have about 450, if not 500 on the board. They'll then have 4 more days of Test match cricket that they can decide, is this enough runs? Do we want to try and set some records here? Do we want to get 1,000 runs up against Pakistan across 2 days? That would be absolutely insane if they managed to do that. But why, though? Couldn't they just play another 2 overs before declaring? It made sense why they declared when they did, because Travis Head losing his wicket on 99, if he got to 100 and then went out, they would have declared as well. And I think even if he got to his 100, they would have declared straight after anyway. So I think it was more about you had to be a bit strategic about how many runs the 2 players were on before you decided where to put the money. And also, I want 500 on the board at the end of the day, says Keith. And at the moment, that seems like a very big probability because England, like I mentioned, the only thing stopping that is bad light because it seems Ollie Pope's going after it. He's going at about 6 and over for his batting. Same with Harry Brook. They just need to make sure they don't lose those early wickets, give the momentum back to Pakistan. Because the thing is, if Pakistan can somehow tear through England here, they need 7 wickets. That's a lot, don't get me wrong. But if they can somehow get themselves 3 or 4 quick wickets in a row, all of a sudden, England may only be looking at 400, 450. And it seems like a good batting surface once you are in. But while you are getting in, that makes it a little bit trickier. And also, I should mention, a lot of variable bounce at the moment. I lay the draw on this one at 230. There's Tony there as well. The draw is a good chance at the moment. I believe it's about a 44% chance of this match being a draw. And that is pretty understandable with the fact that England are making it look relatively easy on the surface. But the big news of the week, of course, was that England, a lot of their players were unwell, but they're still in the lineup. Ben Stokes, he won't want to bat today, so he'll be open. Both of his teammates here, Brook and Pope, can keep out there for a little bit longer. Pope and Brook to get centuries would be ideal, says Keith Watkins, and 450 be good, says Tony there. Yeah, it's always a tricky one because we haven't seen Pakistan bat yet. We mentioned in that West Indies versus Australia game that Australia were batting extremely well, and then the comment was made about you don't know how the pitch is going to play until we've seen both sides bat. Now we see the West Indies. They've been able to put together a pretty decent start to the innings. But Ben Duckett, he tried to go for the reverse sweep. It was given not out. They reviewed it, and it went through and did manage to clean up the leg stump. So it was hitting, and it did mean that his was the dismissal first in the English wickets falling. Then we saw that one of Harris Ralph, his first wicket at international level, and then Mahmood was able to pick up the wicket of Joe Root, LBW'd. He reviewed it, and he did end up going out. As well, that strip will turn sideways day 4 as Tony Martinez. So I guess it's more of that question of who will be the English bowler who's able to tear through Pakistan on day 4 or day 5, if that is the situation we get to. For me, I mean, I want to see some decent spin. I feel like Livingston could be, once again, the dark horse of this side, but also alongside that, you've still got the experience of Jimmy Anderson in that lineup. Alongside him, you've got the aggression of Stokes. He won't bowl himself too much, I wouldn't think. He may give the other guys a bit more of an opportunity. And then also, I mean, you've got Jack Leach's bowling as well as another option. Will Jack's a man who we haven't seen too much of in the English kit. In fact, we haven't. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And then Ollie Robinson, another man. He can even bowl off spin if he has to. I remember him in the Ashes. Did a little bit of spin. Okay, the players now making their way back out onto the turf. Brooke and Pope. I feel like I'm going to be the bad luck charm for England here because they've been going brilliantly. And now that I'm actually watching it and commentating, this might be when the downfall starts for the English. So I apologise in advance to England supporters if this is now the time that they do go very badly. Wicket within the first couple of overs, you think? Could be a chance. They are just showing there on my phone about the BBL. It's starting up on the 13th of December, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting closer and closer and closer. Peter Siddle is still signing contracts. That man is going very well for himself at his age. I think he was going to retire last year from the Adelaide Strikers, but he decided he might as well give it another go this year. I think that was actually the case for O'Keefe as well, was another bowler who was going to hang up the boots and decided, I might as well give it another crack. I'm worried about lighting. I mentioned it earlier on. Bad light normally stops play about, I would say, 30 minutes to an hour earlier than they would like it to. But it looks like it's going to be Naseem Shah in charge of this ball. And the thing is, they've still got another 26 overs until they get the new ball. So that is pretty massive as well. The fact that England have been able to get so many runs off that first new ball. Question is whether or not England will be able to do the same when that second new ball is taken. Mahara as one, just setting the field, making sure everyone is in the right position. Oh, presents KFC Pakistan versus England series. KFC must be putting in some good money into this game. I do enjoy a bit of KFC myself. We may even go there in a couple of days' time for part of the vlog. Now Shah charging in the first ball that we are covering off this test match between England and Pakistan. It's going to be on the stumps, and Joe Root does well. In fact, sorry, not Joe Root. It's Ollie Pope. Is at the crease. I always say that Shah looks like my friend Daniel. You guys will get to see that in a couple of days' time when he is on the channel again. But it was a decent delivery for the first one straight after the break. He's a quick bowler of the ball. That man's found his trumpet and his mustache. The Barmy Army's still in attendance. No matter where you go in the world, if England are playing test match cricket, you can find yourself a Barmy Army. Got quite the test schedule coming up as well, England. Quite a few games. A couple up against South Africa. Those are going to be big deciding ones because South Africa, I believe, do they play them at test? I know they play them in the ODIs, and for the chance for South Africa to go through to the ODI World Cup without having to go through qualifying, I believe they actually have to beat England 2 out of the 3 games, and also they have to win their other 2 matches that they've got up against the Netherlands. So that's going to be a tough challenge for the South Africans there. But Naseem Shah charging in. In fact, does anyone know? I'm sure this is probably an easily Googleable question, but when does the ODI 2023 World Cup take place? Or is it 2024? Nicely played to the leg side there from Pope. Timed it well. Now chasing after this one. It might be, no, it is 2023, isn't it? Harris Ralph does well to cut it off, and they will be able to get back for the 2. So that is the 50 for Ollie Pope. Well batted. 50 off 54. Jack Leach, man on the match. I think he's going to come in clutch with the ball in hand, Tony. I mean, he had a brilliant innings a few years ago for the Ashes. I know that's looking back a wee while, but he did very well for himself. Right, 2023 ODI World Cup will start on October 2023, and it's going to be hosted in India. So we've still got about 10 months or so, but that will fly by. Will be in October next year, and absolutely no time at all. And that will be back into international rugby season as well. In fact, that will be actually at the same time as the Rugby World Cup is taking place. Now, Pope, 32 got balls. He's had a lot of 4s throughout his half century. I think Brook is definitely on that same wavelength of trying to get there relatively quickly. That's outside of the off stump. Brilliant shot from Pope, but they had the cover there. Man lurking on the boundary. Sorry, lurking on the circle, I should say. Was able to cut it off. So 4 balls so far from Shah. It's hard to tell how dark it is at the ground just from watching it from here, but I'd assume that they've got another hour or so, and then the bad light may end up stopping play, which is maybe why England have gone with such an aggressive approach there, and they have got that new style that they found. But I think it could also be because they don't want the game to end up losing too much time. So they want as many runs as they can, get through today, let those players who are unwell today heal up, get ready to bowl tomorrow, because it's going to be a big day for the English, definitely, if they are. We bowl into Pakistan, left alone outside of off stump. Quite a full delivery from Shah. Mohammad Rizwan, a bit of a yell at Shah there. I think he was disappointed that one wasn't going on to hit the stumps. Nice flicky wrist action from Shah as well. And England only playing 1 spinner is dodgy. Clear 650-ish T tomorrow. Although, so they've got Jack Leach. Wait, are you counting Jack Leach as a spinner? Because they've got Jack Leach, they've got Liam Livingstone, who I would say, like, yes, on paper he's a part-time spinner, but he's a very handy spinner of the ball in short format. I'd like to think that that would translate a little bit to test match cricket, but we are yet to see him in action. That was a tough throw to the keeper there, Mohammad Rizwan. He's actually had to dive for that one. It's landed on his face in the process. Still got a smile on it, though. That's what you want to see. That is the end of the 55th over, 335 for 3. Now, from the other end, it will be interesting. See whether they stick with who they had before the lunch break or whether they decide to change, go with a different bowler to Ollie Pope, who will still have the strike. It's another big yawn. And Ollie Pope, he's got 50 already off 55. So I would say, I was going to say he'll score his second 50 quicker than he scored his first 50. And that is definitely a possibility. But I think he gets it by 110 balls. Ollie Pope will have the century, maybe even 100 off 100. And correction, 1.5 spinners, says Tony in there. I wonder what I would get counted as when I'm on like a Saturday. Because I bowl a bit of leg spin. Don't mind a bit of off spin either if I have to. And then also I can bowl pace. But my leg spin, sometimes I double bounce it, which is not ideal. This man's bowling a lot better spin. Mahmood, but that is going to be racing away to the boundary right as I say that. And that will bring up the 50-run partnership between Brook and Pope. And Pope now moves up to 55 or 56. Okay, I'm going to say he gets it in 100 balls because he is going to speed up just a little bit further. But I would consider myself about a 1. If we had another spinner in the team, I would say that we've got 1 and 1/20th of another spinner, which is myself. Because every 20 balls, I might get one right. And Jack Leach to get 10 wickets, says Keith. It's possible. This pitch staying quite low. Reverse sweep attempt from Ollie Pope. These guys are playing this like it's an ODI, maybe even like it's a T20. Like you look at what they had after 50 overs, you would take that in an ODI contest. Having 300 on the board, you'd be like, yep, that'll do. Not too bad. It's probably definitely a contestable total. The question, though, that is still in my mind. I think Zahid is changing his angle. possibly there. But for me, the thing that's on my mind is if these guys are making it look as easy as they have to bat here, what are Babar Azam and Muhammad Rizwan going to be able to do out there on the turf? Because they are both very talented batsmen and they can get a lot of runs. So maybe we could see those two having an absolute field day out on this pitch. Although by day 2, day 3, it seems like the variable bounce will be kicking in a lot more. And Brendan got this England team right where he wants them, says Tony. Now Harry Brook banging the bat down hard. Zahid gives him a bit of height. He swats it away out through cover. They've got the man out there deep. It is just going to be kept to the single, but Brook's still keeping that strike rotating. Exactly what England want to do. Not have too many dot balls up against this Pakistan bowling attack. 55 runs off 58 deliveries they find themselves on for this partnership as well. Zahid once again outside of our stump, tried the leggy that time, getting a nice bit of turn on the turf. Taking the single. Is he all right there, Ollie Pope? Okay. It looked like for half a second maybe he was slightly limping in the way he was running. He looks all right. Looks like he is good to continue. Looks happy enough anyway, Ollie Pope. Now, someone told me earlier on that Zach Crawley's dad is a billionaire, or his parents are billionaires. Does anyone know how they made all their money? Asking for a friend. But $1 billion is quite a bit. Is his dad Bill Gates? Who is his dad? Harris Ralph. Bowled pretty well earlier on. He was just trying to find his test match line and length. Took a little bit of adjusting with the fact that England were willing to attack anything that wasn't on the stumps. Even on the stumps, it was worth a crack for the English. But that is 2 overs down now with the session 342 for 3. It will be Shah once again bowling from the end. Okay, the light gauge hasn't come out yet. I think the umpires had a bit of a chat there, which is slightly concerning. Because I remember Pakistan versus Australia. We lost quite a bit of time due to bad light. I believe it was kind of that last 30 minutes to an hour. We're definitely not going to be going any later than 1 a.m. New Zealand time for this competition or this matchup. Just because of that light, it will end up affecting it outside of our stump. And Ollie Pope willing to chase that one, which just tells you that they're going to be aggressive no matter what. There's another single for Ollie Pope. Who's up to now 58 runs off 60. Gets the strike back to Harry Brook. It's a great seam presentation from Shah. Just didn't get that line right. Wanted to throw out maybe the wide ball to see if Ollie Pope was willing to chase it, and he was. So I think more than likely Pakistan's tactic to Harry Brook has to be put it on the wickets. Shah, has he listened? No. That is outside of the off stump. Harry Brook advances in the process. Does squeeze it out down to find that. Called it yesterday, 3 for 2 or 3 for 300. 2 down. Much better those says young boy Pete. Yeah. Australia did very well. Although the West Indies currently without loss after their first 25 overs of batting, sitting around that 70 run mark. They have actually done pretty well to fire back. But yeah, it just seems like a very good batting surface. The question is, will it continue to be that on day 3 and 4? Because I know day 5 is going to be a wicket-taking venture. Are you covering Poms today? We're currently on the England versus Pakistan, but we did do West Indies versus Australia earlier on today. Is that a picture from Dr. Seuss, young Pete? No, it's not. It's just a fish. Sorry, I thought it might have been, what is it? Red fish, blue fish, yellow fish, green fish, or whatever the Dr. Seuss book is. That was a KC sign. Looks real bright. England won't want to go off. Pakistan get a quick to bowl short now, says Tony in there. So yeah, Shah, I don't think he's going to be the man for the job. He's normally more line and length, although his line and length has gone out the window from what I've seen so far. There's no consistency at the moment for Shah, which is tough for him because that's a little better, but it's still too short. Just gets punched away to deep point, and they do manage to get themselves another single. Yeah, just rotating strike. Harry Brook moving up to 25. Yeah, tomorrow it's a bit more of a question mark. I believe we might end up doing the first session of West Indies versus Australia, then doing some of the Dubai Sevens. I think I've got some of it scheduled on my phone, but I haven't really added it all up for when we are going to be doing it. I might have a quick look, see what I can find. So I believe we're going to be doing Well, that was wide again, and he chases after it for Ollie Pope. Just seems to be timing everything perfectly at the moment. No matter where it is, he seems to be seeing it early. But yeah, I believe we will be doing the first session of Australia versus West Indies. It has a 3:20 p.m. start time, and then that will be finished at 5:20 p.m. Then we will be jumping into Samoa versus Japan for 7:28 p.m. I believe that is going to be the earliest sevens that we've got, and then we've got kind of sevens throughout the rest of the night alongside catch it. No mid wicket, so it is going to be racing away mid wicket. Was not there, but that's going to be another boundary. I'm just looking through session 2. Where is session 3? 8:20. So if we were to do 8:20, we would be missing that one. Oh no, they might almost do that. Sorry, I'm still adding it all up while we're on stream. And McCullum got England using their feet and dominating, says Tony in there. They're exactly right. 350 now on the board for the English. They have been able to get these runs in emphatic fashion. It looks like we're getting the thumbs up from someone who's hiding behind the scoreboard, making sure it's all working smoothly. But Brooke will now be on strike. But yeah, so we are at least going to have one session of Test match cricket tomorrow, and then we are kind of juggling the rest of the day kind of around that. Harry Brooks looking angry, which means he might go for a big shot here. Zahid once again going to be bowling. It seems like spin is the better option, even though he's gone for 134 runs. It still seems like it's the better option at the moment. Hoiked to the lead side by Brooke, and that is going to be 4 more runs. The West Indies have not been to Australia for years. It's young boy Pete, and yeah, they're doing all right. Yes, giving up 600 runs is not ideal, but Australia batted extremely well throughout their innings, and now the West Indies have to make it their goal to also bat well throughout theirs. And also, when was the last time the Windies toured New Zealand? Oh, it's been a wee while. I think it's sooner than when they toured Australia last, though. I think it's within the last kind of 5 years. I think we've seen the Windies over here. But in Australia, I think it's probably been quite some time as well. I'm trying to think because we've had in New Zealand, we've played South Africa, we've had Bangladesh, we've played Sri Lanka on New Zealand soil. Or have we played Sri Lanka on New Zealand soil? I think it was a little while ago, but I think we did. We've also, I want to say we've played England on New Zealand soil. We've also played England. Oh, good run in between the wicket from Pope. Does manage to just scamper through himself up to 65. He's actually gone above 100 strike rate now. Just nicely glided that kind of deep backward point region and just, scampered through. Mentioned about whether or not he had an injury earlier on. That would have certainly tested it if there was some sort of injury. The outside of off stump once again cut away through the gap. That is going to be a beautiful shot from Pope. Races away to the boundary. Just picking out where the fielders are and going beside them. Making them run for it, but just frustration on the face of Babar Azam. It seems like no matter how he sets his field, no matter how his bowlers are bowling, it just seems like they haven't been able to get it going the way they wanted to. FYI, Australia set the highest first day score of 494 against South Africa. Come on, England, and beat that. The thing is, if they had a full day, 100% England, I feel, would be able to beat it. The problem is the bad light. I think we're going to end up being maybe 10 to 15 overs short of what we could have seen, which I believe is going to make it that Australia keep that record. And remember the Gordon Greenwich days. There's young boy Pete. Geez, that's a little while ago. And my parents would probably remember the Gordon Greenwich days. I might have to try and get them on some commentary at some stage. In the future, if we're doing the Dubai Sevens, we might be able to lure them in doing some commentary for the cricket while I'm doing those ones. And also, we've got also Desmond Haynes. So here's young boy Pete into the over, 362 for 3. And that is off 58 over. So they are still continuing to go at, in fact, they're getting closer to going at 7 and over. This is huge at the moment from England. I feel like we're seeing a batting performance that if they can back this up every single game that they play, definitely a top contender in the World Test Championship. I believe it is looking like it could be Australia versus India at the moment. England might have just left it a little bit too late to start finding that form, but anyone who has to play them does not have an easy task, as we are seeing in this matchup. Pope on 70, Brook on 30. So the two of them bringing up 100 between them, but not a 100-run partnership yet. And what about Richie Richardson, says young boy Pete. Yeah, I think that's definitely before my time of watching cricket. I probably only started watching cricket in about, I don't even know when I would have started watching it, maybe about 2015. Well, I would have been watching it a little bit before that, but not watching it to the point of actually knowing what's going on, if that makes sense. Like, you kind of watch it and you go, oh, yeah, the cricket's on, I'll watch that. But then, like, yeah, I guess now it's more of I'll watch it and I'll take notice of who the players are rather than just going, oh, he's bowling fast, I wonder who he is. So nice shot down the ground from Pope, but didn't quite get it through to get Sir Viv. And he says, Tony, and also I'm from the times of Garfield Sobers, says Keith. So that's a little while ago. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember who the cricketers were right when I started watching. Probably someone like Ross Taylor, of course, was there. This was probably right at the start of the Martin Guptill stages as well. You'd have Hamish Marshall. He was one that I remember, of course, because he got the same first name as myself. The McCullum brothers right at the start. Nathan McCullum, Jacob Oram, Daryl Tuffy, all those kind of guys. So yes, Tony, Viv Richards, Joel Garner, says Keith Watkins. I'm a Shah. Wants that breakthrough wicket. Like I mentioned, if England lose one, there's a chance that they could lose 3 or 4 in a row, and then that could make it a little bit trickier to find that momentum again. It's whipped to the leg side from Pope. Very well played. And also we get there Styrus and Fleming, those two as well. Yep. Trying to think of who else. Oh, Chris Martin, the bowling option. Chris Martin? Was it Chris Martin? Yeah, it was Chris Martin, wasn't it? See, there's so many now new Chris Martins that I get confused. But Chris Martin, Kyle Mills, another one of the bowlers. Who else have we got from that era? That's kind of, what years would you say that was, Tony, that all those guys were in the team? That's probably when I started watching it and knowing a little bit more about it. And Jeremy Cooney, said young boy Pete. And yes, Chris Martin, tall, thing, bald guy. Or tall, thin, bald guy, I should say, yeah. Story of he never took his bat to practice because it was too heavy when he was biking. So that's why his batting's bad. In 2008, 2010-ish. Oh, okay, so it was a little bit sooner than I did think. Because I used to play cricket 2004 on the PlayStation 2, which was quite a wee way back, and that had quite a few classic players in the mix. England, the next players that they have, well, they've still got quite a good squad. You've got Stokes, who hasn't batted yet in this game. They've also got the option, you've got Will Jackson there, Ollie Robinson, Jimmy Anderson. They haven't gone with Mark Wood. They didn't go with that extra pace. That's a good ball. Once again, out in the middle of the bat, though, it's making it tricky for Pakistan to defend this because every time the ball is hit at the moment, it's out of the middle of the bat. Nathan Astle, another very good player. Clive Lloyd, a great West Indian cricketer, says Keith Watkins there. Ben Stokes. I feel like once he makes his way to the crease, the run rate's probably even going to increase a little bit more than it already is on. And it's already pretty decent, already going at over 5 runs per over. And closer to actually 6 runs per over, I should say, as well. They're already past the 6. Nicely played in behind. Ollie Pope still respecting the good ball. Doesn't want to get out to a cheap one because he knows that there's runs on the surface. All you got to do is just stay out there as long as you physically can, and you're going to get yourself quite a few runs for your job or for your, I guess, your time, really. As long as you're out there, you've got runs as the option. That's going to be the end of the over. Shah's finished for that one. And it's going to be 364 for 3. And also Roberts, Marshall, Garner, Ambrose, Walsh, Widowmakers, says Tony. And there, yeah, I remember my parents always used to talk about watching Curtly Ambrose bowl. And, you've got Walsh, as well, Joel Garner, all those big, tall West Indian players who just tear through lineups. Michael Holding, another player. Of course, he goes on a bit of commentary every once in a while, but he's another one who's just absolutely brilliant at getting through a batting lineup in emphatic fashion. And, yeah, I agree, Fluffy, says Nate there. Wait, where's Fluffy? I can't see Fluffy's comment, which is weird. What did he say, Nathan? So I don't think it's there. for me. And also we have got there, what a great West Indies attack that was, says Keith. Yeah, formidable. It's a great way of wording it. All right, that one stayed low for Zaid there. It's a better ball, but it's whipped away to the leg side once again out of the middle of the battle. Brook. We'll be looking to bring up his 50 as well. Imagine an English lineup where the only player who doesn't get a 50 is Joe Root. And I was aware of there, my bad, Hamish. Wrong one there from Nate. Oh, you're working at the moment, Nate. How is that going for you? Have you been enjoying your day so far? I think you're only about 2 or 3 hours into it, though, so I assume you're still feeling like you got a long way to go, but you're getting through it slowly. Good stuff. And we hit to the fine leg. Man, and that is another run on the board. Pope sitting on 72 of 72 now. Brooks sitting on 32 of 35, both going at around that run, a ball marker. England going to be able to, I would say, at least bring up 400 in this session. And then I'm worried about the light. I don't think they'll quite get to that 494 that they were after to be able to beat that record, although they've certainly started extremely well. It's just, yeah, the light. I think the light's going to play a factor. Another single for Brook. Pakistan don't really know what to do with their field here as well, I should mention. They're really scattered, and it's making it tricky to be able to bolt to a plan when they're constantly chopping and changing. Looks like they're going to be able to get themselves another 2 runs. A good throw there, almost a run-out opportunity, but they end up missing in the end. Now moving up for Pope, getting up to 74 runs on the board now. So we have got the Hamish House License Direct Sports. Going very well, mate. Hope you are well also. You enjoyed all of the November internationals and the rugby side of things. It's going to be a weird one. Are you a cricket follower, Distracted Sports? Or to the extent of rugby, or do you think rugby's your first? Because you're quite a fan of the UFC. What do you think? Sorry, this is like 50 questions. You can tell that we haven't caught up for a while. But fight card this weekend, what are you thinking? Because that is a good card, I think. The fact that you've got Brian Barberena, is that the name? I think it is, versus RDA is going to be an absolutely awesome fight. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait. That sounded very strange. And I also just finished unloading 2 trailers, having a cup of break. I love me some cricket. Love lots of sports, says Distracted Sports there. The funny thing is, I've remembered who's the co-main better than who's the main. And when I see who the main is, I'm going to be all excited again. Yeah. Stephen Thompson versus Kevin Holland. He's actually got a YouTube channel, Stephen Thompson, fun fact. The Wonder Boy. That'll be an interesting fight as well. I feel like I'm very excited for that card. And it's also only a fight night, which does mean we get to watch all of it for free, which is ideal. Watch away to the leg side. Oh, big bit of fielding in the deep from Pakistan. They will get back for the 2, and Pope once again just ticking over some extra runs, moving up to 77. He would like to have that century and Brook the half century before the bad light stops it. Currently 60 overs in. They should, well, on paper they should have 30 more, but I don't think they're getting 30 more. I think they're getting probably 10, maybe 15, if we are lucky. Pope still on strike. Maybe he knows that as well, and that's why he's decided to speed up just a little bit more. Charging and now hiding the ball, hiding the seam. In swinger, not too bad. And yeah, this fight night is almost better than the next pay-per-view. Says Distracted. Beautifully whipped away from Ollie Pope. That will move him up to 81. Yeah, the UFC 282. Is it just me, or is it a slightly disappointing card? Because, like, Blachowicz versus Ankalaev, I think it's because I don't really know Magomed Ankalaev that well. Like, that could still be a good fight. I just don't think I'll end up buying it. Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon as a co-main, interesting, just because that's probably higher than people think. Well, the favourite fight on that card for me is Darren Till Dricus du Plessis. So I've watched that guy since he made his way into the UFC and actually saw his highlights before he made it there. And that's going to be a cool fight because it's kind of like Darren Till, the experienced veteran who's been there, done that. And then it's going to be Dricus, the South African, going to get a little bit of a crack up against him. I feel like this is going to become like we'll just talk all sports, but I don't mind. I feel like at the end of the day, Test match cricket, we've got a lot of time to be able to fill in. Whether it's talking cricket, whether it's talking sports, whether it's talking about the fact that it hasn't stopped raining here for the past like 3 hours and it was already wet underfoot. Shah, nicely bowled. Ollie Pope once again gets that single, though that's frustrating for Pakistan because they're just able to tap it anywhere in the field and take any run that they want, which is going to annoy the absolute daylights out of Naseem Shah here. See, it's hard to tell because it looks like it's decent light, but I believe that's due to the lights that they've got at the ground, but I don't know how dark we are getting currently. We need the little light radar just down the bottom. Brook sitting on 33 off 36. It'll be good for him to get a bit of a knock going as well here. For England, give himself a bit of confidence. The next game's also going to be taking place in Pakistan for their second match of the series. Down the leg side, whipped away by Brooks, timing it nicely. They want to. It's going to be through the fielder, and it will be 4 more runs. Oh, Shah, he's frustrated. He can't quite believe his luck. He needs to get some wickets soon or else he's just going to start punching people, I think. He's one of those guys, plays with his heart on his sleeve, and at the moment his sleeve is having to accompany his eyes because he's just disappointed with what's going on. Also, we look at the year. I really feel for Glover. Paddy Pimblett is an up-and-coming superstar, but not a co-main event for a pay-per-view. Has he beaten a ranked opponent yet? I'd love to see him and the Hangman go at it. Him versus Dan Hooker would be a cool fight. I think it's mainly because of, I guess you could say, like you put there, the hype. Wait, did you put hype? No, you didn't put hype. Never mind. It's pretty much because he's got all that hype behind him that they think he's going to bring in pay-per-view buys. But the problem is, this is nothing against Jared Gordon. He's a good fighter, but I feel like you needed someone else for Paddy Pimblett to fight, and you needed to have it earlier on the card. We in agreement for that? Just because, Jared Gordon, good fighter, Flash Gordon, decent, but you wanted someone who's a slightly well-known name so that people go, okay, Paddy Pimblett's fighting this guy who we want to see him fight type thing, rather than, Gordon. If Gordon beats Pimblett, that's going to really halt momentum for him. Now, Murray, the comedian, said God is British. He will look after the weather for England. Does he? But he just makes it rain. It just rains all the time. It's raining here still, which is not ideal. And the Hangman says, no, yeah, when's the next time we get all the Kiwis on the card? Those are always very fun to watch. But it's probably not coming soon. Because there's Molly McCann on the same card, and light looks better now, says Tony there. Or do we get a little bit of a clear spot? Because, yeah, Molly McCann seems to want to fight on every card that Paddy Pimblett does, but she hasn't made that card. I see that it was supposed to be Alexander Gustafsson versus OSP. I didn't realize Gustafsson was still going, though. Maybe that's why it's cancelled. I thought he was going to retire a little while ago. And also, they're still feeding him cans so he can get more wins for that hype train and squeeze as much moolah out of his name. Yeah, the video that went around this week was him going to someone's doorbell, wasn't it? Because of his dog. And I was like, Molly just lost at 281. Did she? Who's she fight? We're going to scroll back through. Who was 281? 280, 281. Who did she have? She wasn't on the main card. She lost on the undercard to Erin Blanchfield. Do I know her? I don't know if I know her. Now, Pope. Reverse sweep. It's worked out for him. Once again, finding a bit of a gap in the field and still ticking over those runs. Ooh. Obviously done. Baba Razam. When's Thanksgiving? Just randomly out of nowhere. Is it in October or November? Actually, no, never mind. It's just been, hasn't it? Recently, November, the last weekend of November or something like that. I think it's Thanksgiving, isn't it? She got demolished, says Distracted. Yeah, I saw it was first round submission from her opponent, November. And also, Blanchfield is legit. I will fight for the title soon. Made it look easy. November, says Distracted Sports, and about a week ago, says Tony. I'm so far behind everything. It's currently 11:34. It's actually 26 seconds, I almost said, but it's currently 26 minutes away from my birthday. And up until, I think, yesterday, I forgot that it was my birthday just because I've been that hectic doing a whole heap of random stuff. which is weird because on the channel we haven't had a huge amount of videos. But behind the scenes, we've been doing some preparation for certain videos. We've also had quite a few trips to random places with George. That sounds dodgy. I'm talking about like he really likes chicken thighs. So he's been a happy boy over the last couple of weeks. It's going to be the end of the over. 62 for none. Currently, they haven't actually got the scoreboard on the screen. And maybe I called it yesterday. Fireworks from head, says young boy Pete. And yeah, missed out on the century. 99 and then bowled. Not what he wanted. That is for sure. And I was all right, Jetson, bro. I've got to get a kip. Got to get a kip. What is a kip distracted sport? Sorry to keep you here for a bit longer, but a kip. I'm not really hip with the kids. Is a kip like a sleep? I got to go get a sleep? No, a kip. Got to go get a catnip? No, a kip. Kip sleep. Ah, okay. Okay. You sleep well then. And Kiffin is asleep. Distracted sports. Yeah. I'm not hip with the lingo. Oh, Harris Ralph leg side, whipped away by Pope. Still ticking over runs. He's getting closer to his half century, or sorry, his century, I should say. And Brooke getting closer to the 50 now. Both men will want to bring up their milestones before the day closes. Harris Ralph, he's got pace. I wish I could tell you how much pace, but we can't actually see it anymore because the scoreboard has disappeared. But it's going to be interesting tonight. Says the Track Sports. We will see you later on, mate. Yeah, it was good to catch up. Even though it was only a very short catch up, we talked UFC. We'll have to do an actual one in the near future. That's going to be going down to Pope. Or Pope once again, sorry, whipping it off his pads. In fact, that was Brooke. They have very similar techniques, these two, in terms of the way that they play to the leg side, whipping it off the pad. Very similar. Brooke on 39. Hope is on 87. Both getting close. Oh, here's a fun game. Who won't get themselves their milestone? Ollie Pope, does he get the 100? Harry Brook, does he get the 50? Who misses out of those two? Do let me know. I'm going to say that Harry Brook misses out on a half century because I am ruthless. Harris Ralph, good ball. Nicely driven through the gap there. That should be going to the boundary, I would think. There won't be anyone back there. And Pope moves up to 91. Like they're saying, anything that's on a length, Pope and also the rest of the English batsmen have just been going after it. Almost up to 400 now off only the 62 and a bit overs through the offside. The best way of describing the way that England are playing this test match is when you play on an easy difficulty on Cricket 19 or Cricket 22, depending on what game you've got. And you just want to score runs in a hurry. They don't change their field accordingly, so you just hit it through that same gap over and over again. I can't say anything. I don't want to jinx them. Go on, Keith. We know you are possibly, you got to redeem yourself after that last one if they had a good partnership. So let me know. If it ends up going badly, I will feel slightly bad. But who's not getting it? You could just say both of them are getting it, Keith. Although that could also jinx if they don't. And Ollie for the 100, says Nate. And Ollie playing like McCullum. Hey, he'll get there, says Tony. And moves up to 92. Harry Brooks sitting on 39 of 43 deliveries. Just left alone outside of our stump. They get 100 and the 50, says Keith. And he's got the exclamation mark afterwards. Bold call. We'll see if it does end up working out for them. Harris Ralph, he's a very angry bowler. We learned that when he was at the Melbourne Stars. When he gets it right, he gets it well and truly right. We saw him get a hat trick on the same day, I believe, as Rashid Khan. Two of them, like no one had a hat trick up to that point in the competition. And then both of them getting it on the exact same day in the two different matches that were back-to-back for the BBL. Harris Ralph, he runs on the spot just because he's got that extra energy now. Charges in. It's a good ball under the bat. It goes. I think he's a bit worried about the bottom of his bat there, Brooks, with the way that one went through, and just a slight jinx, Keith, maybe a little, says Nate, but that is the end of another over. It will be 63 overs down and 393 for 3 now. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. It didn't hit the bat of Brooks, so I think that's the thing that saved his toe of the bat, but he did hit the ground with it pretty hard. Yeah, would have been interesting to see if it was slightly straighter, like they've said, because that could have cleaned up a stump or two if Ralph had got the accuracy where he needed it. He's disappointed, but he will be going back to his mark, getting ready to go for his next over after the spin that we are seeing now from Salmon. Can he get the wicket breakthrough that they're after? 19 runs he's gone for. Bit of off spin. Pope advances, sees the gap, plays it perfectly. And I'll say, but we have Hamish now to jinx them. Says Keith, I'm brilliant at jinxing things. And Samoa Sevens preview, I said Samoa winning the competition. So if Samoa finish like 9th or 10th or anywhere around that mark, you know whose fault it is? Me. But I said that they'd go far. I think they'll go all right. I hope they do. Oh, advancing again, trying to find that same gap. Not quite able to do that time, but Pope now moves up a little bit further. He's disappeared. Where's he gone? Ollie Pope's hiding. Where is he gone? He wasn't run out. He's still at the crease, Ollie Pope, and I'm trying to work out how many runs he's on. He was on 92, then he got the 4. So he must be on 97 now. I can't actually see his scoreboard on the screen because they have decided to take it away. Maybe saving power. Now Brooke still on strike. Jinx says Keith. No, he's still at the crease. He ain't gone nowhere yet. But yeah, Samoa are probably not going to go well because of what I've said, saying that they are going to go on and win it. Did they just say Muhammad Ali? Or reverse sweep from Brooke. It's effective, but he only gets the single for it. So straight out to the man on the boundary. Now Pope, he's come back. Now he's on 97 off 86 deliveries. I'm glad that I said that he would get it within 100 balls. Well, I kind of did. I also said 110 could be an option, but he sped up even more. Advances, hits it, tries to go through that gap. He's done well, though. Nice fielding. Just gets the single. Pope knows that was almost a century. He moves up to 98, and that will be the end of the over. That brings up the 400 as well for England. Very well batted of 64 overs. That's probably the quickest 400 we have seen first innings of a test match, surely. Although, saying that, we did mention about that Australia one. They need another 95 runs to be able to be ahead of them. In innings times, they've got an hour and 44 minutes remaining, they have said, but I don't think we're going to get to see all of that time due to the light. I'm currently 45 or so minutes through this first session, and it's looking all right. England's slowing down a little bit, I guess you could say, compared to what we saw before I started watching. We knew that they would, though. Oh, I feel bad for that man because he has got his eye hole where Ollie Pope's one of his century is going to be going. So he's only able to watch it. Oh, I'll tell you what, that was a good ball from Harris Ralph, though. They get the single again, moves up to 99 runs now. And Brooke sitting there on 40, so he will be looking to bring up his half century for this contest also. Get the sweat out of the helmet there for Pope. I almost said Brooke, but I managed to catch myself. Harris Rupp, they're talking about the reverse swing that he can get on the ball. When he bowls a 150 at your toes, people don't like that very much. Like, even if he bowls a 140 at your toes, you still don't want that ball to hit them. And I think this is going to be a Yorker from Ralph. No, he bowls it a little bit shorter. Going to be worked to the leg side. They're going to be able to take the 2 runs on as well. Good run in between the wickets, or is it? Yes, they do get there. In the end, Brooke. And he now moves up to 42 runs. He's up to 47 balls faced. A few of the VIPs. I wish I could say I recognize who those people are. Man's got a blazer on, so he could be important. Maybe. I don't know who those players. Or maybe they weren't players. Maybe they were just people bought the VIP experience. 64.2 overs down. Sitting on 403. Ollie Pope on 99, the chance of a lifetime to get himself a century. Short ball from Harris. Ralph Rizwan liked it. He thought there was a bit of a noise, but the umpire says not out. Ralph's not interested. He's already marching back. Try and give him maybe another bouncer. I just realized Brooks on strike. So forget what I said about Ollie Pope for now. But then when he's on strike, just replay that part in your mind, because I thought that was a pretty good build-up. But Yeah, wrong batsman. Once we play, or when playing Cricket 19 on Steam, I declared it for 2,500. That's a big number. Short ball. Brook likes it. He's hit it hard, and I think that's going to be going. Is it one bounce 4? Or did it go all the way for 6? It's gone for 6. And Brook now moves up onto 48 runs. So he's getting pretty close to that half century of his own. Similar to what we saw for Australia, how it seemed like Smith and Travis here were going to bring it up at a very similar time. England's batsmen here seem to be on the same track. Pope 1 away and Brook 2 away. Good shot, though, from Harry Brook. Like they're saying, he's cleared it by some distance, that man, with a nice shot. Good, solid swing of the bat. Right. Brook. 2 runs needed. Nice Yorker, but it's gone to the leg side. He gets the single. He moves up to 49 now. So both men 1 off, getting themselves their milestones. And Ollie Pope's on with 1 ball left. Harris Ralph has to bowl his dangerous Yorker here, I think. Oh, but then saying that, Ollie Pope will whip it to the leg side and they will give him this 100. Maybe you don't bowl your dangerous Yorker if you're Harris Ralph. Maybe you go short. See if Ollie Pope wants to take it on, depending on the field that they've got set. They should have everyone up, though. Try and put that extra little bit of pressure on. $99 for Pope. On strike. Nicely played. Now, we've already seen a batsman for England almost go out on 99. That was Zach Crawley. The ball was luckily just going a little bit over the stumps. That's the end of the over, though. There's going to be 410 for 365 down. So we've got another hour and 40 minutes or so left that they can play in this one. So they should have plenty of time to be able to get those milestones and maybe even push themselves towards either the century for Brook or 150 for Ollie Pope. So there are a lot of men with their heads sticking out of the scoreboard. Okay, they are just talking about the fact that there are big scores on offer on this pitch. Ben Stokes talking to Brendan McCullum there. I'm not sure whether or not he was one of the people who ended up with sickness. In the end, he's looking pretty chilled out, though, Baz. He'll be getting paid the big bucks, I would think. And not only that, he's got a racehorse, so he'll be pretty happy with that as well. Shorter ball, whip to the leg side for Brook. Well batted for Harry Brook, his first Test match 50. Raises the bat. And now, the question is, can Pope steal his thunder off the very next ball? I feel like Brook knows that as well, that there's a century just around the corner maybe for Ollie Pope. Oh, we've seen Travis Head. He was dismissed on 99. Could this be the case here as well? Right, going to be changing the angle of the bowling. Well done, Brook. Says Keith there. 99 not out. Advances, hits it to the leg side, gets the century. And they do just take the one. He does the fist bump. And he is fired up the Ollie Pope. He's going to be taken off the helmet. Raises the bat. Almost accidentally smacked himself in the face with it, but he is ecstatic at the moment. Brook is there with him, and he gets the round of applause from his teammates. So, another English batter, the third of the day, to bring up a century, all in the first day of a Test match. How often do you see that? All right, the jinx is broken. Well done, Pope. There's Keith. Yeah, you've been able to break that little bit of the jinx that you found. See, all you got to do is just keep at it. And eventually, that was a reverse sweep out through mid-wicket for 4. Like they're saying, the runs are flowing. That time, Brook has been able to bring up another 4 runs. And fist bumps for the 100, says Nate there. Yeah, maybe Brook has decided now he wants that 100 celebration. Hey, they've got the scoreboard back. Okay, someone pressed the wrong button for about 5 to 10 overs, but now they've pressed the right button again and it's back. Down the leg side, nicely whipped away once again. By Brook moves up to 55. And yeah, Pakistan, and this is a tricky one because Babar Azam will be watching this, going, what do we need to do to stop them from scoring so many runs? Or the other option is he could be watching this going, we're going to get a lot of runs when we're batting in this matchup because England are making it look very easy. Well bowled, scampered it through a little bit quicker that time. They still get the single. Moving up to 417 runs. 418, in fact, I should say. Now they're sitting on, and also centuries for Crawley, Duckett, and Pope, half century for Brook. How seldomly do you see Root as the only without a individual milestone? That's another 4 runs for Brook. He has gone absolutely rampage since getting that half century. They have one job, the scoreboard, says Nate. But yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier on how Joe Root, there's a chance he may be the only player for England who doesn't bring up a half century in this game. And then the extent of it is slowly increasing more. We may see he is the only player to not bring up a century. Just stretching out the back muscles. Oh, fun fact, throwing a cricket ball is harder than I remember. Like, my shoulder's buggered now. Because I haven't actually, in the time that I've been back playing cricket, that's the thing. I field in close. So I don't have to worry about the big throw of the ball. You know, normally stick yourself at short cover. You're pretty happy there. You don't have to do too much. At least I thought until I was actually there, and you actually have to cover quite a bit of turf. But it's one of those ones that throwing an actual ball from the deep, I'm not your guy. I'll probably be at worst on the circle. Pope, 101 of 91 deliveries. And Brooks sitting on 59 of 55. These two are continuing to up their run rate. Pope will be the man on strike. Ali back into the bowling attack. He's gone 68 runs of his 12 overs. It's going to be well played. And what make a bet have you got? I've got a Gray Nichols max. Now, I know there's a lot of Gray Nichols maxes. It might... Oh... Gray Nichols max 750, I think it might be. Either way, it's got a little chip out of the bottom of it, unfortunately, due to getting continuous Yorkers bowled at me by a bowling machine, which I trusted my cousin to control, which was not a good idea, as the bat did break. But yeah, I think it's a Gray Nichols max 750. I might have to look this up quickly. Gray... Gray Nichols max bats. I don't think it's a 700. Or was it a 700? Whatever it was, I got it for half price. So it might have been a 700. Play it once again, getting another single. No, might not have been a 700 because they had a green handle. Oh. Okay, it wasn't a limited edition English Willow one either. What's that one? No. Max 9, it might have been 900 for the number. Maybe. And I was very good at V12. Beautiful. I had an SS Jumbo in those days. And I still have my old Slazenger V12 from 1987. That was actually, first bat for me was a Slazenger V8. And then I moved on to a Slazenger V800. And then I moved on to my Gray Nichols Max. And I got a warehouse bat. Second time I hit a cricket ball, it broke. I don't play anymore, says Tony. You got to knock it in. It's the main thing. You got to spend hours and hours just on the bat. Even if it seems tedious, you got to get one that's pre-knocked in. And even then, you're still going to knock it in a little bit, but you never know how hard you're supposed to hit it, which I think is the problem. And also, I can still be right about the number of wickets falling today. Only 3 have fallen. West Indies closed out a day without loss. I said that we can count the wickets on one hand. True. I would allow it. Overall, Sebastian. I should mention, our team's actually going through to a semi-final in the cricket. The one that I play for. There's 4 teams, so no matter what, everyone goes to the semi-final. I don't know if they've won a game this season. I only recently joined, but yeah, going through to a semi-final up against a tough side at some stage in the future. And also, you can make your own brand of bats. In Cricket 19, and those $15 bats aren't all they are cracked up to be. Yeah, they normally only end up cracked at the end of that. Nice shot. Once again from Brook. They might push for the 2 here. No, I heard the early caller no. I'll move Brook up to 60 now. 67 overs down and 4-2-4 for 3. So they've gone through 55 minutes of this session. They can have another hour and 35 minutes theoretically as long as the weather stays all right. Selman, he was a bit expensive in that over. Who's Ali? Oh, he's the other bowler. I was just confused at who was from what end for a second there. But Ali is sitting 13 overs down. And over God's sakes, I was excited for you reaching the semi-final. You're telling me there are 4 teams in total. Yeah. It's all about how you word it, isn't it? But Sebastian, you'll be glad to know that we're playing the next week as well, because there's a 3rd place, 4th place playoff game. So even if we lose next weekend's game, we still get to play again, which is good news. And I know positive thinking is a great thing and whatnot, but there's a high chance that we lose that semi-final match because we are the lowest ranked side, so we have to play the top side, which actually has an over 65 New Zealand representative in their team. Like, that's a thing. He went to some place to play for New Zealand, represented New Zealand, and we are going to be facing him. Fun times. It would be a cool one to have a GoPro on the helmet. I did actually buy a GoPro with all of the channel's money. Actually, no, that's a lie. I tried to buy it with the channel's money, but there wasn't enough channel money. So I ended up pretty much spending my building money on it as well. So we got a GoPro. I want to mount it on the helmet at some stage in the future and just do some batting and whatnot, see how it looks. Is he a batter or a bowler? He's known for his bowling. So he's pretty much, he's a good medium pace, get the ball to talk type guy. Kind of like a Colin de Gronholm. I don't know whether he'd be as quick as de Gronholm, but still get some decent speed by the sounds of it. And I made a blue GM 97 Shane Van Gisbergen bat in the game. Nice. That's another 4 runs for Harry Brook. He wants the 100 here. He's up to 68. Slowly gaining on Ollie Pope, and he's got less balls that he has faced, I should add, on the end of that. I don't know how many testicles are in Harry Brook's life. Now sold. Hit down the ground. That's a shot from Brook. He an angry boy at the moment. He's just doing very nicely, scoring a whole heap of runs in a hurry. Shaquille will not be happy to have been brought into this bowling attack because he's gone for a lot early on. All these KFC logos in the crowd are making me think that I need to message George and see what he's up to tomorrow. But I think we're going to be saving it till Saturday. I think that's the plan of when we're going to be having maybe some chicken. And also, I'm going to do some FIFA World Cup matches, I should mention, in the near future as well on the channel, alongside the Dubai Sevens and also the Test cricket. I said also way too many times, Brooks is just going after it. He's hit it to the leg side. Huge amount of space there. Richard Hadley is 71. Could it be? Wow. I'd like to think if it was Richard Hadley, surely they would know him by name. You know, I don't know this guy's name. I'm sure if you actually, if we knew his name and we Googled him, he probably would come up, which is how you know you've done well. I want to see if you Google the Kiwi lads, what comes up. The Kiwi. Does anything come up? The Kiwi lads. No, it's just the Kiwi lads. Yeah. We do come up. We've got a Facebook, and we're on, what is Flickr? Okay, we're not on Flickr. Where are we? Who's Malcolm Skinner? Okay, that's not us. It's just a shirtless picture of a man. Kiwi lads take on world puzzle champs in India. That's not us. Okay. So we don't come up on Google when you search for us. Fun fact. Well, yeah, YouTube channel, but nothing other than that. Oh, he's had a bang again. Brooks is loving this. 6 fours off the over. He moves up to 84 runs now. Why would Shaquille want to bowl? Because that is not going well at all. He moves up to 84 of 64. He's keeping the hopes of beating that 494 in one individual day alive for the English. Because that is 24 runs and 1 over. 4 after 4 after 4 after 4. Shaquille couldn't find his length, and boy, did Harry Brook make it well and truly a bad time for him. Happy birthday, Ash. Oh, yeah, it's 12, isn't it? Is it too sad to play happy birthday to myself? I feel like it's not. Oh, no, it is if you play it that badly. Yay. And today, for what we're going to be doing, we're going to be live streaming a majority of it and also sleeping the rest, I think. We're going to have we're going to see some records in this inning, says Danny Martinez. And there as well, 448 at the moment. And also we have got there, hi there, Kiwi lads, rocking another match. Great stuff. I had break to go shopping. There's Roof in there. I enjoy shopping. Black Friday, I bought the randomest stuff, but I'm also happy about some of the stuff I got. I got my mum one of those clothes steamers. She'd been looking at one for a few months, so I went, found a Black Friday sale, and I did end up getting her one of those steamers, and she hasn't used it yet, but I know she will at some stage. And it looked quite cool. It kind of looks like a little robot. I was like, happy birthday, Hamish. Good health, money, woman, and funky powder for days. Well, it's an interesting one. Funky powder is something I've never heard before, but do I want to get some funky? Well, that's probably not a good question to ask, is it? The thing is, you could probably find plenty of funky powder around this part of the world, just because, like, we got plenty of bogans around. I did not even come up with your name when I put down is Kiwi Lads a chick magnet in search. Well, yeah, interesting scenario from recently. That might get talked about on the podcast. I think George is keen to talk about that. But interesting October, we'll call it, for the Kiwi Lads chick magnet scenarios. How's the Pakistani bowlers doing? Which type? Spin or pace on today's pitch? I think it's still a pacey wicket. The spinners seem to be doing more of the overs just because they can't really go back to back with the pace. But yeah, I think it's just that. I'd say Harris Ralph for me is the pick of the bowlers because he's got enough pace that can make it tricky. And also, if that ball stays low, maybe he'll be able to force a wicket like he did a bit earlier on. But they are just showing those 6 4s in a row. Just ended up playing both sides of the ground, which makes it very tricky to set a field to. Anytime it was slightly short, he dragged it out mid-wicket way. And now he is going to be facing off with Ali. Can he continue? No, in fact, it's going to be Pope instead, sorry. Who is on strike. Currently sitting on 103. Brook is only 18 behind him now. And brought up the 51 ball before Pope got the 100. That tells you how quickly he has been progressing. They've currently got 57 minutes of regular time, but they should be able to go 30 minutes extra theoretically. But because of the darkness of the clouds and the light, they may have to go a bit later or a bit earlier, sorry. And is it your birthday today? Well, you're a Sagittarius then. It is indeed 2nd of December, every day since I was born. Or every year since I was born, I should say. Now, Pope moves up to 104. He's almost faced 100 deliveries, still going at 1 run a ball. England have been crazy in this game so far from what we've seen. 69 overs down, 451. What is funky powder? Well, for me, the first thing I thought of was maybe like a jelly, a bit of gelatin, put it in a bowl, some water, mix it up, put it in your fridge. 4 hours later, you've got yourself a funky jelly. But I don't know if that is the case. Sherbet's a funky powder, isn't it? I haven't had sherbet in years. Happy birthday, says Kiwi Go. Thank you very much, mate. But yeah, I think you guys are going to be seeing quite a bit of me on my birthday because we've got the Dubai Sevens later on. We've got the West Indies versus Australia test match that we're going to be covering tomorrow. And Colombian produce, Keith. You're talking about that, the old not sherbet. Ollie Pope's got a popsicle here that he's sucking on. Said that in a weird way, didn't I? Brooks still at the crease, 85 runs off 65 deliveries. Pope sitting there at 104. of 99 deliveries. My Achilles is not going good at the moment. I think I jarred it the other day. Fun fact. Oh, okay. The light meter has come out. That might be the only thing that stops England from setting a new test day record. The most that we have seen is 494 in one day. Thanks, Sebastian. I was thinking of something for athlete's foot to get rid of the funky smell. There's Keith. Could also be funky powder, perhaps. Yeah, they need another about maybe 50 or so. Also, we have got there, listen, Amish, I'm going to buy a caramel cream vanilla SpongeBob cake for you and eat it enjoying your birthday for you, says Ruth. Okay, I am not completely against that idea. A caramel cream vanilla SpongeBob cake. That sounds all right. Trying to remember. Way back in the day, I had a picture on a cake. I think it was Thomas the Tank Engine. This was when I was about 4. I think it might have been. I don't know. Ironically, Keith is not an uncommon substance among athletes. Ooh, firing shots, pow, pow. Of course, these two, Brooke and Pope, the run rate that they've got, you would think it was something a little bit out of the ordinary, but not because of the substance. Unless they've had a Powerade. Powerade gets you going, doesn't it? Blowing on the fingers at the moment for Brooke. Did you put some nail polish on? Why is he blowing his fingers? He doesn't want to wipe it on his... Okay, he's got that chalk stuff. And he doesn't want to wipe it on himself. So he's going to suck it up in there. So that sounds lovely, Ruth. See Sebastian. Ralphie was able to get the wicket of Crawley. 122 off 111. Ducker, LBW by Mahmood. 107 off 110. Not out Pope. 104 off 99. Root. 23 off 31. Bold Mahmood for LBW. And then Brooke sitting on 85 off 65. These guys have just kept going and going and going. That's exactly what they were after. And I think they're just showing the replay, the celebration that we saw from Ollie Pope when he was able to bring up that 108 only, which records in this innings. Dire Straits, Sultan of Swing, gets it as well. Says Ruth. Oh, I used to be able to play a little tiny bit of Sultans of Swing, I think. In fact, no, that's a lie. Isaac could play Sultan of Swing. I could play You Have Love a Bad Name. And a little bit of Wake Me Up When September Ends, I think, was the other song you taught me. Now, Pope, 104. It's interesting because the umpire ended up having that light meter, but we didn't get to find out what the conversation was like for how dark it actually is. I would say we've got another 30 minutes of play, maybe a little bit longer. Might get closer to that hour. So I was done once again. Solid, hit hard. Timing, everything. Pope gets the 2 runs, goes down to Harris Ralph, who's that long off. Nicely fielded once again by the man in close. So, Pope sitting on 106. Are we hoping to get the century before the end of the night? Might be quite tricky to get there, though. 15 more runs. All he needs is another over from that fellow that got him 6 4s in a row. When was the last time we have seen 6 4s in a row in a test match? Let alone a T20, but a test match. And Sebastian is talking about funky hair powder. Have fun, Amish KFC and chocolate fudge ice cream for George, says Ruth. Yeah, we may end up celebrating my birthday maybe on about Tuesday or Wednesday, possibly, which sounds weird to say, but just with the amount of sport that's on, that's a shot from Brooke. It's gone to the boundary again, 89. Like this weekend, we've got the Dubai Sevens. We've got the test matches that are going to be going on. So more than likely, I think it's going to be maybe early Saturday. We might get a bit of an afternoon stage that we might be able to do something with the boys. But yeah, I think it's going to be a midweek celebration. I don't know what to do for my birthday, to be honest. I'm 23. That's weird. I wonder what time I was actually born, because I doubt it would have been 12:09 a.m. on the 2nd of December. I assume it was I'd like to think I was an afternoon baby, just to not cause any problems throughout the night. You want to be able to sleep during the night and then you have the baby during the day type thing. I suggest ditto. The song White Flag, Pakistan should be flying. Oh, fun fact. I think I used to actually play that in my high school guitar lessons that we had. She was also our babysitter. A nice girl she was. It's going to be hit to the leg side. No run taken. Pope still has a strike for the last ball of this over. And I've realised my scoreboard hasn't been updating. There we go. That is actually the last ball of the over for 59 for 3. They need another 35 runs and then 1. If they get that, that is the most runs scored in a single day of Test match cricket ever. And that's what they'll be after. They won't even know that stat, though, more than likely. I think that's only one that they'll find out when they come off the field. But they don't look like they want to slow down. Brooks on 90. He's allowing himself to just keep on getting carried over, not allowing the nerves to set in, which is exactly what you need to do when you're a young player who's getting not just his first half century, but he wants to get the first century. So he's just going to keep on going and going and then think about it after. Best way of putting it. He's going to be on strike here, though. And is once again going to be Ali bowling. Well, 14 overs, 73 runs off him. Brook with the high bat lift. Just to the leg side, no run taken. And also the white flag from Bilal there. Yeah, it's interesting how both test matches, West Indies versus Australia and England versus Pakistan, they're slightly similar, but not really, if that makes sense. Both have had a huge amount of runs scored by the first team, but a whole different amount of time taken, which means the development of both of these games could be pretty intriguing. See how they work out. And how many centuries have you scored, Hamish? I have actually never scored a century. Also have never scored a half century. I believe my best was 43 not out. But I was always one of those kids who played way too defensively because I had a fought defensive shot and then I get in my own head and then I go, right, I need to start attacking, and then that's when I get myself out because I kind of block myself into a hole. Even in the cricket that I played a couple of weeks ago when I got my first chance, I should actually mention that was the first game I played of cricket in 10 years at any type of level. So it's been a little while since I've actually played consistently, but yeah, like anytime, even in that game, I was like, I'm taking too long. I got to start going aggressive here. But the field was very lush, and I keep hitting the ball on the ground, and it would just pull up. I managed 10, got myself bowled, and our team got bowled out for about 78, something along those lines. The Pakistan team struggling against England, says Bilal Khan, although we haven't seen them bat yet. I think Mohammad Rizwan and also Babar Azam are going to have a lot of fun on this surface if it keeps on playing the way that it is currently, because it seems like it's coming onto the bat nice. No real threat of swing, no real threat of bounce. Oh, they're having another break where they are going to be eating some popsicles and whatnot. Sensodyne sensitivity moment, because life is too short for sensitive teeth. What if someone actually has sensitive teeth? That would be one of those moments that would hurt quite badly. But I know that the man just passed them over the drinks just before. We actually saw that on one of the matches for Pakistan, how they were actually handing out, who wants an ice pop? You can have the ice pop for this filming. Ali, nice ball once again, bowled. Hit away. And Crawley. No, in fact, sorry, that's not Crawley. That's Brook, who now moves up to 92. 8 away from the 100. This is when you get into those nervous 90 nerves. Best way of describing it. I said the other day, you're an all-rounder, so you must have bowled plenty of wickets then. I did used to get quite a few wickets. I don't think there were many times back in my A grade. I think A grade was actually the last time that I was playing, to be honest, and maybe a bit of 4th grade. There weren't many times that I would bowl 4 overs or however many we would play. I think it was actually you were allowed to bowl 8. Oh, that's close. That's close. Umpire saying no, it might have been slipping down leg. But yeah, there weren't many times that I'd bowl 8 overs and not get 2 or more wickets. Just because the thing is, in those younger grades, because I was bowling a bit of spin, no one knows how to play spin at that age level. So as long as you get it in the right place, you're cleaning up stumps all day. Now we're at that stage how people are a little bit more accustomed to spin, which is why I've been working on leg spin, because even if you're good with off spin, the leggy every once in a while in the right spot, leg stump going across the off is always very tricky to play. And have you got WWE 2K22? I do, I believe. If that's not the newest one, I haven't got the newest game, but I have got the game before that. So maybe I don't have 2K22. I might have 2K21. Possibly. I think the one that I've played the most is probably 2K19, though. This is a little while ago. Now, Pakistan, they did decide to go upstairs for this one, trying to get themselves the wicket of Ollie Pope. He's taking their time setting up, and 23 is the new one, says DSM. Okay, so I think I've got 2K22 then, if that's the case. Oh, a fair delivery. Just behind the line that he had to be. Right, what does this ball do? Oh, tell you what, it's looking a little bit better on that one. 2K20 was the last one. Okay, I have 2K20 then, rather than 2K22. It's close to the bat, but he didn't get it. It's hit him just above the knee roll. This could be a decent chance here, as long as it doesn't elevate too much. Hello, Hamish Bro. Welcome in for the show. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Review coming in. It's hitting. It's a red. And Pope's gone. 108 runs, but he's going to be dismissed. 104 he got. Well, 104 balls, I should say, he faced. But now another batsman going to make his way to the crease. Now, that is quite an interesting moment, because I mentioned about the fact that I thought there was a chance that we might see wicket after wicket falling once England lose another one. This is now going to be maybe that moment we see. I think Stokes will be next to the crease, and never mind, there is no 2K23, says TSM. Not yet anyway. Maybe next year or the year after they'll look to add that next one. But the third test 100 for Ollie Pope, disappointed to get dismissed. He got 14 fours. If you add those up, that's already 56 runs. Half century of boundaries for that man. But the reviews remaining, 3 still remain for Pakistan, 2 for England. And who are they going to send out? They send out Ben Stokes, the captain. Was sick earlier on in the week, wasn't able to attend the press conferences, gets a funny meow meow. Says bad supplies. They can be, yeah. Stokes making his way out. The lighting doesn't look great in the background. I know that we've got cameras that kind of end up adding a bit more of that saturation so that we can see what's going on, a bit more brightness. But Brooks on 92. So the first goal for Stokes is to get Brook his 100. And also probably not lose his wicket early, I would say as well. And also meow, kitties meow. Says beds ablaze. First bump from Brook. And Stokes, it's actually still raining here. I thought it was supposed to stop, but it hasn't. The Pakistan team, 4 new debutant players introduced today's test match, says Vishal. I think maybe England have got a similar, or maybe not quite that many, but they've got at least 1 or 2 players, I think, who have been added in on debut. Over 5,000 test match runs for Ben Stokes. He's got about an hour and a half that he'll be able to work with, or in fact, sorry, an hour, 10 minutes. Now just showing the end of Ollie Pope. Did end up straightening that ball a little bit. And raining here in Oamaru, says Kiwi Gamer. So yeah, I think we're supposed to get about 15 mil tonight across the next kind of day or so, which is not ideal because, like, I know that second grade are supposed to be playing cricket at the local ground, but it's almost underwater at the moment from cricket training when we were there. And then we've had more rain since then. That's a nice play of the ball from Stokes. Faces his first delivery. No golden duck for that man. I'll be honest, that's the only thing that was going through my mind when I was at the crease for the first time. It was right. Face the first ball. I was opening, so I did end up allowing my cousin to have the first ball to face just because I didn't want a royal duck. At worst, I'll take a golden duck, but not a royal duck. So I was like, you can have the first ball. I'm at the other end, and we'll see how we go. And Hamish, meow, please, says Pets Ablaze there. I mean, I don't know whether or not a meow's one of those ones that's quite hard to get right. You know, you got to do it quite high pitch, but I don't know if my voice has the high pitchness in it at the moment, you know, from talking a bit too much. But Brooks sitting there on 92 of 71 deliveries. So we're seeing 3 centuries and then Joe Root. Now we've got 2 new men at the crease. Both wouldn't mind bringing up a century, although Stokes would have to do it in a big hurry if he does want the chance to do so, because Brook is already out this side towards that 462. And also, Hamish Brad, FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. You enjoyed it. which team you support, and favourite player. So for me, I've enjoyed watching the games. It's a shame that I haven't been able to stream them as of yet, but that's going to be changing in the near future. We are hoping to do some of the round of 16 that is coming up relatively soon. But for me, favourite team and favourite player, it's a tricky one. I quite like a couple of those European teams. I'm quite a big fan of. Of course, I would say New Zealand if they were in there, but they aren't. So I would say, in terms of team that I know the most about, it's probably England almost, to be honest. Favourite player is a tricky one. I like Virgil van Dijk, but that's only because he's real good in FIFA. And what was your team? Was your team betting first? We were. I ended up opening, and then as soon as my cousin's wicket fell, I fell about an over later, and then the whole team kind of crumbled. Unfortunately, we've betted for about 15 overs between me and him. And we were just, or maybe not 15, sorry, maybe about 12 overs, somewhere along those lines, just tapping it along, slowly scoring. They were bowling very well. So it was just more of that case of just surviving at that point. And then, yeah, the team was bowled out by about 28 overs or something along those lines. But we're in the semi-final next week. It's good news. Shah on the stumps there. Brook whips it away. Himself another single, moves up to 95. Now, I don't believe the umpires have had a look at the lighting ever since the drinks break, which is good news for the players. They will want to go as long as they physically can in this one before they end up losing light. And the thing is, they're only another 30 runs away from reaching a new record here, England, for the most runs scored in a single day of Test match cricket. So they're getting there. 30 more runs. Seems funny enough to say because they're already on 465 and they're supposed to have 90 overs in a day. So imagine how many runs they could have got if the over rate was a bit quicker. And then it would be a royal golden duck if you got out first ball. Yeah. So because of that, I was at the non-strikers end. Had Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool, well, Netherlands and Liverpool defender there. And also clearly England has devastated Pakistan bowling season, saying Warrior. It just seems like the pitch hasn't got too much in it, unfortunately. So unless England do some completely different bowling to what we've seen from Pakistan, I think we're also going to see Pakistan bat for about a day. Maybe not score 500 in a single day, but maybe score 500 across a day and a half. Just because the variable bounce may be the only thing that gets Pakistan a little bit worried. But other than that, it seems to be the ball's been coming onto the bat nicely. A little bit of reverse swing for a couple of the players. Nice shot from Stokes, whips it away, leg side. They have the field up a little bit more for him. They're not going to be able to stop that ball and erase us to the boundary for 4. Ben Stokes does nicely. And Babar Azam's disappointed. I think he's talking to the bowler Shah, and he's saying, hey, you weren't supposed to put that ball there. I just realized my scoreboard hasn't been updating for a while. There we go. Go back into it. Like they're saying, if it's outside off, he goes down to third man for 4. If it's straighter, it goes through mid-wicket for 4. So, Babar Azam, I think it's not so much he's frustrated with the bowler. It's more he's frustrated that they just can't work out how to stop England scoring runs. No matter what, England just keep on going. Nicely glided there. Ben Stokes through third man. Exactly what he was hoping to do. And that will be racing away to the boundary for another 4. It is brutal from the English batting lineup, but that will be the end of the over. 477 for 4 now off the 72. And Pakistan, they will want this day to be over. And it's a day that they definitely want to forget. Because if there's another 20 runs scored, that is the most runs in a single day of Test match cricket. And they are sitting 18 overs short of 90. So it would be interesting to know how many overs that 494 was scored in for Australia way back in the day up against South Africa. Because I would say that this is definitely quicker. So Brook sitting on 95. Like they've said, Liam Livingston still around the corner. They've still got Jacks in that in that batting lineup. Ollie Robinson, he can bat all right. Jack Leach, he can stick in there if he needed to. But I think England are looking at 650 or somewhere around there at this point in time. Ali, outside of off stump, glided with the use of their wrists up to deep point, and that will be the single. Brooke moves up to 96. Hey, Nessa, thanks for visiting Pakistan. Do come in the PSL 8. Is there said 22 years since Nessa Hussain and Atherton have actually been in Pakistan for a series. It's been quite some time. Be one that they won't forget for a while. Definitely if England keep on scoring the way that they currently are. Still supposed to be 1 hour and 5 minutes left of the day. That is if we can get through without bad light. It has gotten a lot darker in recent times, though. England would have known that at the start of the match, which is why they have gone so aggressive. Well, one of the many reasons why they've decided to absolutely take it to this Pakistan bowling lineup. Charging in there, Ali advancing. Ben Stokes gets a little bit tucked up there, hits it straight to mid-wicket. And also, I want to get PGA Tour 2023, F1 Manager for 2022, says Kiwi Gamer. Trying to think of what the next game that I am looking at is one I've got my eye on. Probably I want to play that Hogwarts Legacy one at some point because it's supposed to be quite good. But other than that, I guess maybe the next rugby game that's supposed to be coming out in 2023 began doing that one. So hopefully it's decent if they do end up releasing it in time. Oh, he's asking for it, but it was down leg and too high. Was pretty keen for Ali for half a second, but Stokes sitting on 12 off 6. This is a normal day at the office for Stokesy. He will just keep on tapping that ball around, try and get as many runs as he can in a hurry. Sensodyne sensitivity-free moment once again, because life is too short for sensitive teeth. I think I have sensitive teeth, so maybe I should try Sensodyne. I wonder if they'll let me drink a drink every 5 seconds and then say that it's good. Maybe. Could be an idea for the future. I mean, I know that if we had a KFC sponsorship and George got free KFC, he would be eating it every chance he got. Currently raining once again here. Hopefully the rain, like I mentioned, stays away for the 2 test matches that we have got on at the moment because it's currently... But the weather's been pretty good for the West Indies, Australia. They haven't had any stoppages due to weather. Pakistan versus England, it looks like it's been pretty good. Like I mentioned, it's that light factor that may come into play later on in the days, but we look like we're only going to miss out on maybe about 10 overs at the end of each day. Oh, almost dropped it onto his stumps there. Brooke hit it down the ground, got 96 on the board. Doesn't want to give it up now. In fact, he wants to bring up the boundary, I would think, just to cross that 100 off and then from there be able to say, yep, that's done. Keep on swinging. And it will continue that kind of momentum of every player except for Joe Root to have 100. Now, 15 away from the record to tie it. Ali short ball. It's going to hit the pad of Brooke. I don't believe he got any on that one, so that will be just the leg by, and that will be the end of the over. He retains the strike, so that's probably ideal for Brooke there. In fact, they gave him the run. No, they've taken it back now. So Stokes might have just said, calm down, youngster. Don't go out the same way that you did on your debut. Make sure you're getting it right. Still plenty of time left. Having a bit of a joke at the crease as well. England are having fun while they are out there, whereas Pakistan are finding this anything but fun. They don't want to be there no more for this stage of the match. They want to get into their batting, start putting a whole heap of runs on the board. Speaking of runs on the board, Liam Livingston would love to be able to make his way out to the middle. Shah, now another single taken by Brooke. He moves up to 97, just cushions the ball there, finds that gap. Okay, so Jax is in there because of Folks not being available for this one. It looks like Jack Leach is lying on a hospital bed in the background, but I think it is just a chair with a whole heap of towels on it. He'll be hoping to have the rest of the day off, which he should do at this stage unless something majorly drastic happens. And also, would Glass-Eyed Joe play cricket? Who is Glass-Eyed Joe? Glass-Eyed Joe. Couldn't tell you, Kiwi Gamer. I'm not too sure who that is. Nah, my brain doesn't tell me who that is. Stokes sitting on 13 off 8 at the moment. He's going to have the strike just for now. The lighting looks like it's getting a little bit worse for wear. The lights are well and truly in full effect. But pitch is still looking pretty good. I know that there's been a couple ones that have stayed low on the first day. Highest score is from 1910, 1911. Series Australia against South Africa. So I would guess then there were no 90-over days. Oh, you think they just kept playing and playing and playing perhaps until it got dark. This is going to be more runs. It's racing close to the boundary. Well stayed. Or well kept in the field of play, I should say. It's going to be a few more runs for Stokes. He manages to get the 3, moves him up to 16. But the thing is, like, for England here, 73.3 overs they've been able to do this in. That is absolutely incredible. Because when you look at that, like imagine how many they could have gotten if they had those extra 16 overs. Theoretically, they're going at 6 and over, somewhere around there. You add another 96 runs on. They could have had maybe closer to 600 by the end of the day if they had had the full 90. Nassim bowls it nicely, trying to glide that one through the third man region for Brook. Doesn't manage to get it there. He seems like he's got a little bit back into his shell now from the Mike Tyson punch-out game. I haven't played that one. Sorry, Kiwi Gamer. Not too familiar with it. I think I play a bit of UFC, but of course that's not quite the same thing. I would say the last boxing game I played was actually Wii Sports, which is probably not considered an ideal boxing game. Then Shah, Yorker, great shot from Brook. That's the century. Well batted from this youngster. Got a big smile on his face. Ben Stokes congratulates him as well. 2 matches, 113 runs he's been able to get for himself. They stuck with him in that starting lineup and been able to make the absolute most of it there. The 488 runs also. So we just need pretty much one more over and they should have it. And well done, Brook. Yeah, very well batted. From 50 to 100, he took 30 balls, I think it was, or something along those lines. Maybe less, 28 balls to get his second 50. Hit it to the leg side. No run. Almost run out there. No. It's a misfield. Now, yes, no. Gets back. He's got a big smile on his face. Ben Stokes laughing about it as well. The two were just playing yes, no at the crease. There was almost a run out. Both of them managed to do well to stay in their ground at the time that it mattered. Just needs Stokes to get half century before the end of the day, says Keith Watkins. Oh, it might be a bit tight. I see that it's getting darker. But 16 off 9, he's the type of player, Ben Stokes, who sees that as a challenge. He'll go 34 runs off the next maybe 5 overs. Doable. I'll just start going bang. Yeah, 74 overs through. The umpires don't look like they've had too many conversations. $484 or $488 for 4. Okay, first time in history that 4 men have scored on the opening day of a test match. And make that 4 Centurions. A betting coach will be treated to a raise, possibly, says Sebastian. It's been going pretty well. Stokes down the ground, hits it over the top, 1 bounce 4. And that is going to make it now 492. England 3 runs off the most runs scored in a first day of a test match ever. They are, Sebastian, what is the tactic that England are going with here? Other than just absolutely smack the ball. This is part of a game plan because I know Bazball normally has go at 4 or 5 over. This is going at 6+ and over the whole day. How are they doing this? In fact, they're almost up to 7 and over about 6.5. Ali, where do you bowl it to Stokes now? On the stumps. Good ball. Hits it to mid-wicket, and it is going to be well fielded there. Okay, so they're saying maybe they should think about a couple bounces in a row, and then you might be able to get away with the umpire saying it's the end of the day. They have still got spin as an option that they will be able to bowl if they want to. Brandon McCullum there cheering on Brook when he was able to hit that century. A moment the youngster will never forget in his second test match for the English has been able to get the 100 on the board. Stokes goes for it. He's hit that well. And that, where's that gone? Has that gone? It's gone for 6. That is a new record. Ladies and gentlemen, 498 runs on the board for England, the most scored in a single day of Test match cricket, and they still could have had an extra 15 more overs after this. Imagine how many they could have been on. They could have scored 600 in one day. This is weird. I feel like the odds for England scoring 500 in a single day of Test match cricket would have been absolutely like ridiculous. $501 probably for that to happen. And Max has put the wave again. It's your birthday, and England are setting Test records. Yeah, that's one thing I'll be able to say. I'll be able to say on my birthday, England were able to get 500 runs on one day. They need 2 more, though, to be able to say that happened. Come on, Stokesy. It's up to 26. Like I mentioned, you'll see this as a challenge. Swung through the line of the ball, through the gap. They got 500 on my birthday. And that is another big shot. We mentioned it. 34 runs he was going to need and only a few overs. We said he might see it as a chance of going, yeah, you know what, I'll have a bit of a crack. He's up to 30 runs now off 13 deliveries. What's the fastest half century in Test match cricket, I wonder? I'm going to do a Google. We'll go fastest Test century. Scored 50 off 21. Misbah Ul Haq, 21 deliveries. Stokesy's got 8 more. He swings hard. He's hit it straight into the fielder. Run out attempt. No, they don't get through. Okay, they are just talking through all the records that England are breaking. There's a lot of them that they're going to be going through. They mentioned a 509 from Sri Lanka in one day. I'm not sure whether or not that was a record, or maybe 509 in this amount of balls. No, it wouldn't have been that, I wouldn't think. Stokes, he saw that gap. He knew it was his for the taking. Smashes that ball hard. Right, he's on 30. He's got 7 deliveries to score 20 runs. We're gonna act like that is the goal for Ben Stokes. And it looks like this is exactly how he's going to be playing. It's a short ball ramped over the top of the slip cordon. That will be racing away to the boundary, and that's now 34 off 15 for Stokes. Ali just can't believe it. He's going, where do you want me to bowl? Because this man's hitting boundaries all around the park. 16 needed now for Ben Stokes to have the fastest century, or sorry, half century. What's the fastest century now that I think about it? And it would actually be a Pakistan player. He takes it off. Brandon McCullum scored 154 balls in his final Test match. Oh, is the sun setting? The umpires have got together. I think they're going to have a little bit more time. Or are they? Nope. That is going to be the end of the day. 506 for 4. Wow. What a day of cricket we have had. I've actually been watching this one throughout the West Indies versus Australia live stream. Me and Dad were watching it before we got onto the stream. And this has been a day of Test match cricket that has been anything but normal for Test match cricket. But is it the way of the future? Is there going to be a chance that we see England go on to score maybe 700? And also Test will be an interesting one. I saw your video on Jebby Co channel. And there also says Insane Warrior. You saw my video on Jebby Co channel. I do not know if I know what Jebby Co is. I will give it a Google. Jebby Co. Jebby Co. I think I found the wrong Jebby Co. Because I think that's It's not the one with 2.12 million subscribers, is it? And happy birthday, bro. Says the same warrior. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that a lot of the thanks so much. It's been a great day of Test match cricket, says Keith. And yeah, we are going to have some of it tomorrow as well. We're going to be doing the West Indies versus Australia. That will be the first game that we do cover on the channel. And then that will be at 3:20 p.m. going through to 5:20 p.m. And then after that, it is going to be the Dubai Sevens that we will be covering on the channel. And maybe a little bit of the cricket scattered throughout as the day goes on. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you all for the next one.